It's Tech Tip Tuesday. I'm Lou from All About Imports. Let's get started. First things first, we're gonna drop our hitch onto our ball, and we need to take into consideration the locking pin for the locking mechanism. Some people use a padlock, some people use a clip like this. This is the preferred clip for me anyways. A padlock is great when you're trying to prevent theft as it's sitting in your driveway, but I prefer these. The next thing that we need to consider are the chains. These are no longer legal in Canada. If your trailer has a non-locking clip like this, you need to retrofit a clip that has a clasp on it that closes and prevents these from falling off. Another common mistake is to not cross your chains. It is the law. You have to have your chains crossed. Some people are like, well, what's the difference? A picture's worth 1,000 words, right? So let's assume the worst has happened and you've had a separation. If the chains are not crisscrossed, well, guess what? The trailer is going to hit the ground. It's going to flop all over the place. You are going to have a very out of control trailer. So as you can see, when the chains are crisscrossed properly and they are of the proper length, that if that hitch, the tongue falls, it's going to be cradled into a little pocket there, and it will give you a little bit more control. It's not going to be the night and day difference, but it definitely will make a bit of a difference. But it is the proper way. Now, if you want to get really particular and getting stopped at the side of the road, I'm sure you will get. I don't think you'll get a ticket for it, but this pin here in the drawbar is actually supposed to go from the driver's side to the passenger side, with the locking pin on the passenger side. The theory being is that if that pin were to come out, or you forgot it, hopefully the built-in road crown in the road, which is obviously slanting that way, would keep that pin in there. Now, I don't think you're going to get a ticket for that, but if you're looking for the 100% correct way, that would be it. Now we're going to move on to this wiring harness. Taking a look at this connector here, the standard 4-pin connector that if you've got a trailer, you've all fussed with before. You can see this one is in really bad shape and needs to be replaced. Easy way to identify the wires are, the white one is just the common one. That's going to be the one with the odd pin. That's the negative. The yellow is always going to be, think of it as your left side, so that's the passing lane, or the yellow stripe on the road to your left. The green is going to be the right, think of that as your grass to your right, and the brown is going to be the dust you're leaving behind you, so think of that as the tail light. Anyways, we're going to have to replace this connector as well, but I've got a quick little aid, and I'm going to show it to you in a second. These are handy little devices. They are a wiring tester, and they're going to tell you right on it that the tail light, left and right, and brakes. You can see that. Let me get it out of here. Anybody who's got a trailer should probably think about investing in one of these. Focus, focus, focus. So basically we just plug that into the connector, and if you're having a problem, if it is not clearly as desperately obvious as this one, so if you don't have lights, you need to figure out whether it's your vehicle that isn't providing the correct power to the lights, or if it's your trailer. This one here obviously is the trailer, but in this case we would just plug this in. So now we know the truck is good, so any problems that we might be having would be from here backwards. I'm going to plug this back in. Surprisingly enough, this thing actually works. This is obviously best done if you have an assistant to check the left and check the right, but when you're by yourself, you can turn the hazards on and make sure you have running lights, which will pretty much cover it all. So as you can see, we have the running lights and the hazards working, so there's a pretty good chance that the turn signals are working or if the hazards are working. Next thing we need to consider is the height of the drawbar coming out of the back of the truck. We should actually have a drawbar that drops down a couple inches. Ideally, the trailer should be level. It's not out that far, but since we're getting this truck and trailer combination ready, a simple drop down bar by about 2 inches will get that to the correct angle. Next, we're going to move on to the trailer wheels. We're going to check the date on them. We're going to check the DOT code. So when you're looking at a tire, it's the same as a car tire. Last 4 digits represent the production week that the tire was made and the year. Any tire that's over 6-7 years old is, regardless of how it looks, probably should be replaced. No tire manufacturer recommends their tires past 6 years. You're calling that. There's no law about it, but that's just a general guideline. Moving on to a bearing protector. There's brand name ones, there's these ones. Basically they're meant to inject some wheel bearing grease into the wheel bearing assembly. They're not meant as a replacement of servicing your bearings. So typically every year, so when you're on a utility trailer that's not being submerged, you should be resealing your, taking your bearings apart and cleaning them and greasing them, putting them back together. And if you're regularly submerging your trailer, you definitely should be doing it more often. These will add as like a little insurance package to get grease in there, fresh grease, in a quick and easy sort of format. They do not replace the proper service interval for your vehicle. Anyways, trying to think if there's anything I've forgotten, and I can't seem to think of anything else. If I think of anything else, well, I'll come back out here and shoot some more. Anyways, it's Lou from All About Imports, and it's Tech Tip Tuesday.